We're now experiencing what our ancestors have gone through of every race, color, and creed over and over again. The cycles of decadence, the cycles of rebirth, the cycles of renaissance, the cycles of decadence, the cycles of corruption, the cycles of tyranny, the cycles of collapse, and then rebirth. But sometimes civilizations are never really reborn. They just stagnate into a long nightmare, a dark age, a long despotism. But things are different now with nuclear weapons and fission fusion and hadron supercolliders, cyclotrons, geoengineering, genetic engineering, nanotech. The mistakes that elites have made in history before, really just their mad power lust to become God, will be magnified and manifest thousands of times what they ever were previously. Destructively, militarily, millions of times. And if elites in every period of human history killed millions, and then tens of millions, and then hundreds of millions in the 20th century, can you imagine when the bloodletting starts this time on a exponential scale? It will be in the billions. The mathematics of human sociology, mass psychology, and anthropology to applied multi-level human activity actuaries show total destruction in many areas of this world. And the globalists have decided to accelerate this and to control it and to try to right it. Their argument is it's like the famous Red Adair bombing with dynamite oil wells that no one could put out, using an explosion that's bigger to put out the fire. That's what they say at the very highest levels of the last echelon before you enter the star chamber itself of pure satanic evil. Because you enter that chamber, you go to that level. It's all about killing everything on this planet as a monument to death. The desecration of beauty, the desecration of the future, the desecration of this long march of humanity struggling, fighting, betraying, honoring the good, the bad, the ugly, everyone who's lived, all their hopes and dreams, dashed, all the good, overturning evil, defeating evil, over and over again, going through hell to do it. The triumph of good over evil. Evil can never beat good long term, so now evil seeks to destroy all life on the planet, to destroy it, to have total nihilistic victory. And they argue that the elite will then blast off and leave the planet because we weren't meant to save the earth, we were meant to leave the earth. Yes, we were meant to leave the earth, but we were never meant to destroy the cradle that God gave us. And right now, we can't get off the planet. We're imprisoned here with a bunch of psychopaths who are the type of people that want to grab little kids out of the back of somebody's yard and put them in a basement for 2 months and torture them and terrify them and rape them and then finally kill them when they go into a catatonic state and have, quote, been used up. Well, you take those people and you give them 180 IQs and you inbreed them and you give them power, and that's what we're facing. The good news is every top scientist of any repute, of any renown, is in the news saying, we're going into total tyranny, anti-human nihilism, they're raising an AI system, genetic engineering out of control, nanotech, we're not going to make it. In fact, Rob did a piece on it a few weeks ago. I never aired it. We ought to cue it up and play it. It's titled, Stephen Hawking Agrees with Alex Jones. Hawking came out and said, we'll never survive 1,000 years. And I said, Hawking, we won't survive 100. We won't survive 50. He came out a week later and said, actually, I've revised things. We won't survive 100. We're not going to survive 20. if we don't put the brakes on this right now. These people have got to be stopped. So, yes, I'm not worried about them coming after me because I'm not going to go skeet shooting and fishing and deep-sea fishing and play golf and enjoy a fancy car and go out to fancy restaurants knowing my seed, my children, will never make it to the future, and their children certainly won't. All that other stuff is window dressing. My life is window dressing compared to the continuum of my ancestors and everything they did and all their genetic information and their memories and their love and their passion and their spirit. They pass on like an electrical current connected to myself, to my father and my mother and their parents back. I am connected to the very first people on this earth, just as you are. It's epic. It's over the top. It's incredible. Look at the airplanes in the sky and all the life and the computers and the relationships and the humor and the music and the mysteries. It's so fabulous what God's given us. And we're told to sit here and look into the dirt and care what Kim Kardashian is up to, and to care what Hillary Clinton's up to, and to care what LeBron James and Obama and Miley Cyrus and all these people. And again, I'm all into celebrating human potential, celebrating the human structure, all of it. But we're given these icons so they can piggyback globalist propaganda on to the celebration of those icons. I'm not against celebrating a woman with beautiful dark hair and sexy eyes and voluptuous curves. But when she's attached to a bunch of poison, I am. I'm not against celebrating a piece of cheese. It's tasty, but I don't want to put my finger on it and it's really a trap and slaps down on my thumb. And, of course, in the scale of things, snaps down on my neck. Snap your finger, snap your neck. This isn't a game, people. This isn't a joke. It's not a drill. It's toe-to-toe with scientific psychopaths. A scientific dictatorship that's almost ready to walk. It's getting up on its knees. It's learning to walk. We're feeding it. We're funding it. We're protecting it. And it's growing. It's replacing the military with robots and drones. It's replacing the jobs with robots and drones. It's not like it's some innovation that just happened. They've decided to end the world as of men. You want to defeat the globalists? Grow a garden, have an outside cook stove, get a few acres somewhere in the country. Even if you're poor, you can do it. Go out there, start spending time. Don't comply with the system. Get with other people and don't comply with the system because they've actuated the system to implode your economy. They've actuated the system to make you dependent so you can be basically bought off and controlled and then phased out. You want your welfare? You want your food stamps? You're going to take inoculations. And then you're going to be brain damaged and then you're going to die. I want to get to all this news, but look at these headlines. Prepare your homes and neighborhoods for the violence that is going to sweep America. The thin veneer of civilization that we all take for granted on a daily basis is beginning to disappear. And it begins with the lawlessness of government. That's a Michael Krieger article, Infowars.com. Another Paul Watson article, wealthy installing safe rooms to prepare for civil unrest. We told you this first. It's now in the New York Times. This has been going on for 10 years. It's accelerated, but mainly if they've got the money, they're leaving and going to New Zealand, Australia, the Cook Islands. If they really got the big money, they're going to Switzerland. All the billionaires have left Israel, all of them, in the last 5 years. They've evacuated. And then your mid-level elite are building bunkers under their houses, and inside their garages have four-wheel trucks loaded up with weapons, food, whole 9 yards. I mean, and I've got this from the biggest home builders for the elite, insiders. You know, you've heard them here on the air, and now it's in the New York Times. I mean, they're gearing up. I told you, I ran into a billionaire. Person was worth about $4.5, $5 billion when I looked him up. They talked to me about 15, 20 minutes. I wasn't really sure who they were. I knew I'd seen them before in magazines. And they explained, they said, listen, you're going to get really big in the next 5 years or so. And they said, it's about 5 years ago. And they said, everything you're saying is dead on, and then there's more. Just keep saying what you're saying. I'm getting out. I'm going to the Cook Islands. And others are going to New Zealand. And I said, what's going to happen? They said, everything you say, you know. I can't tell you, but there will be no America as you know it. It's going to be Mad Max. and was grabbing me by the arms. They're going to implode the derivatives, folks, and all hell's going to break loose. And they've got it all primed that people won't turn on the corrupt government to fix it and write off the debt. It's going to be kill the cops, burn the cities, kill each other, so the government can sit back and pose as the savior. I mean, you can see them lining it up. They've got the communists coming out of dry ice, coming out of carbonite, coming out of the freezers. They're thawing them out all over the place. I mean, it is Night of the Living Dead, folks. It's bad. They're firing up every psychopath, every mental patient, every wind-up toy, screwball, nut job there is. The left, the universities are turning up the heat. That's why you see every day university professors going, I'll kill you if you're in the Tea Party. You filth, and like slugging people, and they don't even get in trouble, and handing out constitutions. And they're just up there saying, the rain is coming, white males are dead. And it's mainly white males leading it. I mean, But this isn't Russia with a bunch of disarmed peasants. This isn't Ukraine or Poland. And they fought back, but let me tell you something. If you think you're going to roll us, you got another thing coming. But you're meant to be destroyed. You're just the ignition. You're just the detonation cap, fools. But there's no doubt the enemy's moving. They're getting ready to drop the hammer. I don't know if it's this year, next year, but they're in full crazy gallop. Now, we backed them off overthrowing Syria right away because the military said no. We've had some other successes, but this is a very serious time to be alive.